Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today we're going to do something a little different. It's not a Gary Grigsby game. Imagine that. It's not a Hex Encounter War game. Imagine that. We are going to jump into Going Medieval. It's in early access, so keep that in mind. There's a lot that they have planned for this game. This game's gotten incredible support. It's got a lot of people backing it. It's got a lot of people active on the Discord. The developers seem very active. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I played around with the game for a couple of hours, just enough, to start making these beginners videos and give you a flavor of what the game's all about. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it and support the developers. It's $25 on Steam right now. I think on Epic Game Store you can even get it maybe a little cheaper. So I think it's well worth that price, and also to help support these smaller developers because this looks like a really, really good game, and it's come out of the gate very strong. I mean, it's gotten a lot of support. So anyway, what is Going Medieval? Well, it's a stronghold builder. You build your settlement and your stronghold. It's also a character driven game. You have characters. It's very much like Rimworld. You give your different characters tasks. You tell them what to do. They go do it. They also have their own moods. They have to eat. They have to sleep. And so they have all kinds of different character traits that you have to be aware of and different tasks that they're good at and not. It also has a little bit of Crusader Kings kind of stuff to it. They've got traits, so some of the characters may be good people to be around. Others may be kind of grumpy. Some people may have a heart condition and they're not as fast. Others, may eat too much. Some may drink too much. You can be an alcoholic. There's all kinds of things that go on. There's a ton of resources in this game, building materials, and they're only going to add to that. So anyway, this kind of game I love. I love these kind of games. I spent way too many hours playing Rimworld, and this looks like a medieval Rimworld, taking everything that was learned from that game and its various mods and trying to make it even better. So anyway, let's talk about what the roadmap is. So, as I said, it's early access. Here are planned future updates. Now, I can tell you for an early access game, this already has a lot of features, but there, you know, supposedly are a lot more coming, and I trust that it's true. I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. They're going to be adding trading and merchants, caravans, settlement, diplomacy, settler social interactions, religious influence, so on and so forth. You can read these for yourself, but there's a lot of stuff that they're looking to add as they build on. They've already made a lot of updates to this game, and so as you can see, we're on version 5.28.6, so it's not as if they've been idle. You have the different options you can go look at, graphics. I'll skip a lot of this. Game, UI scale, autosave. I've shifted this over to Fahrenheit. You can also do Celsius. There's all kinds of shortcuts, hotkeys that you can set here if you want different ones than what the stock is. There's a lot of camera movement in this game, so maybe you have a certain way that you like to have a camera move. You can do all of that. But let's go ahead and pick a new game and jump in. So at this, during early access here, there are essentially three different scenarios you can play. My understanding is they want to add a whole lot more, but I'll quit saying that. You get it, right? They're going to try to add a lot more to this game. You could do standard. Your settlement will experience some enemy raids. Now, this is why you're going to build a stronghold, right? There are weapons, there's stones. It's kind of a castle building game eventually. It's set in medieval times. Obviously, it's going to turn into castles, or you would expect it to, as well as environmental events. Raids occur at steady intervals. Okay, peaceful. There are no enemy attacks. And survival. Enemy raids happen frequently in this mode, and their difficulty increases over time. There are also different difficulty settings. We're just going to leave it at normal for these purposes. All right, next. There's three different starting conditions. You have a new life, a lone wolf, add new. Now, I understand that this is going to be very moddable, and so people will be able to add in their own scenarios. They're also, or starting conditions scenarios. They'll also be adding on, is my understanding as well. So, anyway, let's do a new life, which I think is kind of just the stock or base or what's expected. Each settler has a story about the past they left far behind, but now this tattered group has a common goal to build a new home together. Recommended scenario for first time players. Starting conditions. It starts in the spring, so this has a dynamic clock. It is a pausable real time game, and I don't mean it's I mean pausable, as in if you can hit the pause button. So the starting season will be spring, and then you have various resources that you already start the game with. You have 12 package meals, wood, hay, cabbage, chronicle. There's a learning component in this game. There's going to be kind of a crafting component eventually. Linen cloth, simple healing kit, mechanical components. Okay. And 25 ale. Well, that'll keep everyone in good spirits, I hope. Equipment, we have a sturdy wooden spear, a steel short sword, a good short bow, a sturdy longbow, a fine wooden buckler. Yeah, I love it. Fine linen gambeson. The number of settlers is three, and their age ranges can be anywhere from 23 to 55. There's height, weight, men and women, 50-50. There is a religious component to this game, which I thought it was a kind of a nice touch, right? I mean, this game is set in medieval times. There is going to be a religious component if you're being halfway realistic. So you do have to build a shrine if your people are religious, or there's two different shrines as we get into the game. Clothes, you've got some clothes here for the winter. Again, we're starting in spring, so that gives us a little bit of an advantage or time to kind of build ourselves up a little bit. Now, um, you can do a dice roll. Every time you randomize something, see the little dice over here, you can change the settlement name. Every time I pulled this up so far, the way it works is there's kind of three different choices on a map. Now, these maps are not incredibly large right now. As a matter of fact, yeah, we can't even go above. This is the default size, all right? They are planning on making massive maps, like world scale maps. But for the early access, it's this smaller default map. Believe me, it's not that small. There's a lot you can do on this map. But there's three different starting locations generally that you get when you pull this up. You could be down in a valley, you could be up on the mountain, or you could be in the hillside. Of course, if you're down in the valley, probably growing crops is more feasible. If you're up in the mountain, assuming you can get enough food and whatnot, you could probably build a very impregnable castle. Hillsides come somewhere in between. Probably didn't need me to tell you that. I don't know. Let's start in the valley just because I think it'll show more. The name Toxol is fine. I guess we can change our heraldry. Oh, I like that. Black and gold. All right. That'll be our heraldry, and we'll start in Toxol. Doesn't hopefully that doesn't mean toxic. In the valley, we have plentiful vegetation, fertile soil, and clay. Moderate amount of limestone, lesser amounts of gold, silver, iron, and salt. Okay, sounds good. Now then, this is our character creation screen. Very, very much like Rimworld when it comes to this, if you've ever played. I don't mean to keep referencing that, but they obviously were highly, highly influenced off that game, and Rimworld is one of the great games ever made, and so that's not a bad thing. What is all this? Well, of course, these are your different skills. They run from 1 to 20, like a D&D game. Now, I have seen like a 21, so you can get bonuses off these perks, and this is why I said it looks a little like Crusader Kings in this way, because each character has different quote unquote perks. Sometimes they can be good things, sometimes they can be bad things. But they have a skill from 1 to 20. In my very, very short experience with this game so far, it seems like you need to have somebody that's good at melee. All right, so somebody that can fight it out if we need that. You need someone that's good at medicine, and then it probably doesn't hurt to have someone that's intellectual. Now, a lot of times intellectual and medicine will kind of run together, and hopefully you can find that in one person. And if you do, then somebody being good in construction and carpentry, of course, is going to be very helpful. Also, I mean, look, they're all helpful eventually, but I'm just saying, starting out, really melee, medicine, construction. Okay, you can worry about botany and growing crops later. I mean, this is survival right from the start, right? You got to go out and gather up whatever you can. You got to build some buildings, and if somebody attacks you, you got to hold them off. If you get hurt during that, you need somebody that's got some medicinal qualities. So, okay, those are kind of the three, anyway, I think of that you need at the start. The different perks. Godric is a cannibal. Okay, that's probably not good for the group. 40 winks. He only needs to shut his eyes for the briefest of cat naps. Now, you do set a schedule for your people. They will need to sleep a certain amount of time. It's probably best to stagger that, but we'll get into that. Background, they kind of, tell you he's a loyal Franklin. Okay, a loyal Franklin. Because he's a cannibal, we're not going to take him. Maybe this little old lady, Milla, would be somebody we want. She's a bookish master builder. Okay. Doesn't look like she's too masterish. Now you may say, what are these stars? Well, now your characters can gain more and more skill in something the more they do it. And so these are things they have a certain affinity towards, or at least they're things they like to do. Uh, they will gain skills faster in those pursuits. Now you see she's got a double star in botany. She starts out with a 1, though. She's not very good, but she's very passionate about it. And you can see here how the skill levels work. She's a skill level 1. She needs 1350 XP to go up to the next. And you can see 2 stars mean the settler will gain 4 times more XP when they actually do botany. They gain their experience much faster. But she's not very good really at anything. I'll just kind of click through these. Now, I'm not going to min-max this thing to death, but I would like to get somebody that's decent at melee, decent at medicine, and decent at construction. All right, here's our medicine guy. Kane. What is Kane? Let's hope he's benevolent. Okay, he's a ray of hope. All right. Why does this say toxic healer? A cloistered life tending to the Abbey Guardians and copying fine manuscripts spun Kane along a golden thread of erudition. Alas, the pitiless abbot urged him to go forth and heal the sick. So reluctantly, Kane's exile began. When the world changed, Kane fed a band of hungry marauders, a risky job. Um, that's kind of interesting. Okay. It sounds like he maybe killed these guys. I don't know. I mean, we're going to move on from that. He's hot-blooded. He's permanently overheated, throwing open windows and shunning warm clothes. He should be kept cool. Okay. He's a sluggard. All right. I don't like him. Sorry. I'm trying to find these guys halfway fast, but that's just not going to do it for me. Why don't we pick this lady? This is Quinnell. She's not great at medicine yet, but she has an aptitude for it. She also could become a better marksman. She's an okay fighter, but she's smart. So let's do Quinnell. Now, Swatine, not really liking her. Melee animal handling. Wow, he's a 23. He's a brawler. He's congenial. He's okay, sure. Dudley. We'll take Quinnell and Dudley so far. What's Garrick up to? He's not good at melee. He's good at mining, smithing, and speechcraft. Right. Well, I want somebody decent at construction. So let's all right, she's smart and she's got a lot of aptitudes. Let's use her. That is Brooke. No, it's Adalina. Adalina Brooke is her name. She's a chivalrous master builder. All right, I like the sound of that. So we've got a chivalrous master builder. We've got Dudley Whitcomb, who is a caring burner. I don't really know what a burner is. I think a burner likes animals. Okay, fine, Dudley and Quinnell. All right, so she's going to be our medicine person. Dudley's going to be our fighter, and Adalina is going to be our builder. All right, next, let's go on. Now, this just kind of goes through a summary of everything you've picked. Talks all. Here are your settlers. Quinnell, you can see all of her stats. Oh, we didn't really look at religious alignment. She's kind of in the middle. Dudley is a little over to the right. If you look down there on his thing, it says religious alignment. The more over to the right that blue bar is, the more religious they are. And so, actually, this person, Adalina, is quite religious. Can I go down on her? No, I guess I can't. And we are going to show tutorial tips. All right, so off we go with our crew. Now, I'm going to pause this at the start. It will kind of pause for us right at the start anyway, but then we're going to pause and talk about what all's on the map, how you look at the map, etc. The plague had ravaged the British Isles, leaving a trail of destruction. In its wake, untold millions went into an early grave, and those left standing were plunged into poverty, brutally scarred by the horrors that they had witnessed. Nothing would ever be the same again. As the cold retreated, heralding spring of the year 1353, Quinnell, Dudley, and Adalina set off into the wilderness to claim a piece of land as their own. Um, in the eyes of God and under the law. Here they may lay down the foundations of some kind of future. Perhaps hope will follow. Dudley is confident, defiant even. We will make this work, says Dudley. I don't know. Should I get voices for each of these? No, I won't make. I won't make you suffer through that. I guess no. See, I'm not going to do it. After many travails, they arrived in a valley with golden plains. For Adalina, it conjured visions of bountiful harvests, a place to put down roots. They decided to call it Toxol. And there we are. And this is where we're going to start. We're going to go through all the tool tips and really just do this from the ground floor up. Welcome to Going Medieval. Please bear in mind that the game is under heavy development. This means that the game will have some bugs and unfinished systems. You can consult the almanac for help and tutorials, okay? Camera controls. Now, you can set these up however you want. WASD, kind of the general WASD on the keypad, mouse wheel zoom in and out, tilt and rotating. Then they also have alternate controls. World layers. Now, this is something I really like. You can go up and down in layers, meaning you can you can make multi-story buildings, as you can see the picture unfolding here. You can also look there. I mean, there are like caves and caverns. You can look down into those. You can take the roof off of things and look what's into the different levels. So I think that's a very nice mechanic. And then game speed. We're going to play this at the slowest, just because, I mean, we're all starting out here. I'm starting out too. So we're going to kind of learn this together. We'll pause it as we need to. We'll, kind of figure out what we want to do with our game plan and building things. We'll do a lot of that on pause, and we'll just slow this down as slow as it can go and try to learn the game. All right. So that's that. Let's click off and let's pause. All right. So let's back up and just see, kind of how big the map is. As you can see, for the early access here, it's a small, what they're calling a smaller map. It's still pretty decently sized, right? I mean, you've got a lot of room to operate here. When we get back to our people and we zoom back down, as you can see, I mean, that's a lot of territory. There's a lot of building that we could do here. We could build one hell of a castle on a map this size. Now with the camera, you can rotate it, you can zoom it in, you can zoom it out, you can kind of see whatever you want to see. You scroll to the edges up and down, your usual camera if you're used to playing camera games. We see here's Quinnell, and we can click on her. She's a thoughtless alchemist. Okay, her pseudonym, the Riddler of Ardwick. Like I said, I mean, they add a lot of personality to these people, much like Rimworld. So she's 34 years old, 100 kilo. I'm not even going to ask 100 kilograms how much that is. She's a devout oak brethren. Now, this is something we kind of skipped over a little bit, but this settler needs religious activities every few days. They require an oak brethren shrine or temple for the religious observances, and religious alignment goes from left to right, as we talked about. So she is devout. She is a devout oak brethren. So she's really not that religious, as she's not a zealot or something. Disfigured after the fire, Quinnell. Oh gosh, I didn't know she. I didn't know she didn't have a face, but she had. Few will look Quinnell in the eye. Well, wow, okay. I mean, if we were looking to maybe expand the old-fashioned way, well, she doesn't have a face, but I'm not sure how picky everybody's going to be. Dudley, the Dudley's sitting in the catbird seat. It's either her or Adalina, I guess, if romance is to happen. But there will be other settlers, or I say settlers, there will be other people that show up on the map. From time to time, they may ask you for help. They may try to trade something with you. So other people can be recruited into your merry band. She's also industrious. She's a busy bee, buzzing around, getting things done. So her work speed is plus 10%. Okay, that's good. Um, Now we can also go here, click on her picture. There you go. And you can see all of her stats. So Quinnell is our intellectual. All right. Intellectual without a face. Right. Over here, you can see how many hit points she has, whether she's hungry, her mood, whether she's rested, and her schedule is anything. But we're going to fix that at some point. Let's go over to Dudley. Dudley's that caring burner, of course. He's really good at animal handling. He's 28. Now, that balding pattern there had suggested a little older to me, but evidently Dudley is a 28 with male pattern baldness. Religious alignment, he's a zealot. Well, crud. Uh, he requires considerable religious activity to stay happy. He doesn't drink alcohol. Well, that's a positive. They require a church of restitution shrine or chapel for their religious observances. Okay, so restitution as zealot is about as religious as we can get. You could see he was, scooted over here. It's not like we can change that. He again is a brawler and he's congenial. Dudley is our fighter, and we can hover over there and you can see his stats. All right, Adalina. She is a chivalrous master builder. That's excellent. We need that. She is a gobbler. Oh, God. Oh, no. She likes to eat a lot of food. Adelina, no. She's 32. She may end up getting a little plump. We'll see. She's hot blooded. So she's always hot. Okay. I mean, that'll be a problem at some point. As you can see, again, here are her stats over here. Draft. This is when you have people show up at your little settlement. If you want to draft them into your group, attack, banish. All right. Aggressive flee neutral. What is this? Well, this essentially gives your character what they should do if there is some kind of threat. So if your little settlement's getting attacked, do they run out and fight? Do they flee? Well, as you can see, she's a 6 melee. We're going to have her on flee. Dudley, we need to put on aggressive so he runs out and fights. And then Adelina, her melee is also a 6. Let's just make her. You don't want your medicine person to really fight. She is not. It's Quinnell that is our medicine person. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll make her neutral. All right. Thanks, Adalina. All right, what do we have up here? Well, we have jobs, schedule, and what do we have down here? Well, this is all the stuff we're given at the start of the game. We also then have berries. Let's get off of her character. There we go. Um, Here's all the stuff that you're given at the start. We've got our 25 ale pints there. We've got some mechanical components. You see forbidden here. We'll go change that here in just a minute. But essentially, the game has a system, and you see it right down here, that let's just click it now. Allow and allow all layers. Always remember there are layers in this game. So all I do is left click and I pull it across here on the allow button. And now you don't see that hand up there. They are allowed to interact with these things. If we put disallow on something, so let's just say that we did that, um, select piles to keep them from using or using. So that was green. Now let's turn that off. If we do, okay. Oh, I see, forbid. If you pick forbid and you do all layers like there, that's just grass, but let's go, I don't know. Let's find some berries or something. You can forbid them out here. Let's dismiss that. And that a hand will go above them if they're forbidden. This hand here, so you can see the wood. Let's click on that. All layers, no, allow. That's what we want to do. All layers, we'll pull it across there, and now the hand goes away. And so now they can go, interact with those things. So what is this? If we look at the cursor, if you look down at the bottom left here, it tells you our position. in kind of squares. I guess they're not. I'm used to saying hexes. They're squares over here. It is soil, 100%. Okay, soil's good. We can eventually grow crops there. Traversal speeds, 85%. All right, so this just, I guess a base is 100. Here we see this grass traversal speeds 30%. That will slow you down. And it tells you tall grass, ripe, stability. Interesting. Okay, I haven't really researched stability. We are outside. Now you can see we're over this tree over here to the left. It is a birch tree and it's growing. All right. This is also a birch tree and it's mature, so we may want to cut that one down and use that for wood. Nowhere to store resources, settlers are idle. Okay, those are so you get your warnings up here. It tells you the year. This tells you whether it's spring or summer or fall. It tells you the season. It tells you what day of that season it is, and it tells you the time. On a 24-hour scale, it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit. We're outside. It's clear. Okay, these are just your usual screenshot mode, report bugs, almanac, historical records. So these are your basic administrative functions. Over here is where we start seeing things that you can do in the game. Um, so we can group different resources. We can view one layer up or one layer down. This will come in handy if we go all the way down here. Let's go all the way down to like a layer of 3 or 2. You see, we get down to the actual grid. And then you go up a layer, another layer, and then the trees start filling in. I think 16 is kind of the default here for height. But if we want, if we see something that's like underground or there's a cave or a cavern, we can look down in here. You can see the different elevations that you have here. And so that's how you can go up and down levels. You see over here, we have some clay. That is clay. There are berries. This, I believe, is iron. Yep, so we can make weapons with iron. Here's some more sticks that have just been kind of left out here. Stick pile, we may as well allow that, huh? So we'll take that off. We'll allow them to interact with those two because we want to go gather up as much as we can. Well, we don't want to cover up the soil. This is where we would eventually want to plant something. So let's look around and figure out where we really want to build our settlement. As you can see down here, we've got a very deep kind of, terrain that happens here. Maybe like right in here we would want to build our settlement, or right here. That looks like a pretty good place. We don't want it to be too far. We don't want them to have to walk too far. Maybe right here. This could be, we could have a field on this side and a field on that side eventually. So maybe we'll do that, kind of like right in this area. We also want to have, we need to have a storage place. Okay, so I want to keep going through these, sorry. Hide roof elements, we'll get to that. Hide treetops, show overlay of rooms, show colored grid overlay for zones, um, show item indicators, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so these are weapons. That's why they're kind of highlighted that way. I kind of like that one. Group resources and we don't want to do that. And reset camera. So this all has to do with how you see the game. Then we go to something that looks almost identical to Rimworld, and that is jobs. And here we go, tutorial jobs. Here are your different settlers, not ours, but these, this is just a tutorial. Job priorities. The job panel is where you can prioritize each settler's task. By default, settlers will prioritize their jobs from left to right. All right, it's very important to remember that. Um, Using left mouse and right mouse, you can change job priorities so that a given settler will choose one job before another. Jobs set to the same priority level will be prioritized from left to right. If the jobs box is empty, that means the settler will never do that job, and settlers will always do the highest priority job that they can find. If it's not on anybody's priority list, it will never get done. And the frame color of a job box indicates the settler's skill level. Okay. Tip: if a settler has a very low skill rating for a specific job, it is better to turn that job off completely for that settler. Otherwise, there's a chance they'll do the job and fail. This is important when it comes to things like harvesting. Example: a settler with a low botanical level could end up ruining the harvest, yielding no resources. So it's best to let them focus on what they do best. Okay. Now, how does all this work in practicality? 1 is the top priority, 5 is the lowest. What is tend? Tend is um, caring for the wounds of others. All right. And if we go down here, you see what their skill rating is in this. As you can see, Quinnell is our healer. We're actually going to, I left clicked, and we're going to take her down to a 1, making this her #1 priority. If somebody gets hurt, the first thing Quinnell's going to go do is try to fix them. She also has a proclivity for that, as you can see by the star, so she will gain experience in that at double time with 1 star. Dudley is not good at medicine, and we're just going to put him on nothing. That way he doesn't go and try to help somebody and end up hurting them. This person, Adalina, is actually not very good at all. We're going to put this on, we'll put it on a 5 just in case somebody gets hurt and Quinnell cannot get to them later on. She would eventually tend to them. Now, this probably should or could be a 2, but she's so bad at it, I'm hoping that we get somebody else in our group. Convalescence is um, basically resting while your wounds heal. All right. This should probably be a 1 for most people. When they're hurt, you do not want them back out there trying to do things, right? You would want them to rest. Now you may say, well, this is 1 and 1, but the game goes from left to right. So she will tend other people's wounds first, which we need because she may keep a couple of other people alive even if she dies herself. I would rather her be medicinal first, but generally speaking, you want people on 1 convalescence, except for maybe your fighter. I'm going to put Dudley on a 2, meaning he's going to fight it out while we're fighting. Because if Dudley dies, or if he goes and lays down while we're in the middle of a fight, everybody else is probably going to die too. All right. Hunt. All right. Well, she's pretty good at hunt, but she's terrible at it. We do not have a good marksman at all. I'm going to keep them all on a 3 because we're going to need somebody to hunt at some point. We just don't have anybody good at it. We'll let that go to a 3. Construct. So when I'm going through this, what am I thinking about? Well, the general basic things like resting after you get hurt, uh, I kind of think of those as being a 1 instead of the fighter, except for the fighter. For tending wounds, I want my medicine person to be a 1, right? For things that nobody's really good at or isn't great at, a 3 or a 4. Construction is something we definitely want to have somebody devoted to, and that will be Adalina. So if she gets hurt, first of all, she's going to rest. But if she's not hurt, she's going to be trying to construct things, and that's what we want. Now, Dudley has, an affinity for it. He's just not very good at it. She's okay at it, but she's also our healer and intellectual. So I'm going to make her construct a 4. I'll leave him at a 3 just because he wants to be good at it. He's just not very good at it. But I'm going to leave him on a 3. All right, for growing crops, Dudley wants to be good at it. He's not. Nobody is good at growing crops. I'm going to make her like a 2. This isn't a great breakdown, right? Because we want people growing crops and constructing at the same time. So actually, I'm going to back that off. I'm going to make that a 3, and I am going to make him. I'll leave him on a 3 too. If nobody's good at it, I'm just going to leave those as general. Harvest, again, nobody's good at that. We'll leave them all at a 3. Mining, wow, I got some people that are really bad at everything. Okay, they're all a 3. Cut plants, all a 3. We'll do it this way because then it'll kind of go from more important. The game has set it up that way. What's most important to what's probably least important. I mean, you get down to haul, which is just carrying things. So, if we just leave them at 3, if nobody's good at it, that's probably the best way to go about it. Anybody good at culinary? Of course not. Craft? Okay. Non-skilled work, crafting basic items like bricks, 3, that's fine. Smithing, nobody's good at that either. Carpentry, she's actually okay at carpentry, making woodwork benches, and that's kind of can be an important task. We'll turn her to a, yeah, you know what? Actually, this person has an affinity for it, Adalina. Let's make her a 2. Hopefully she'll, if she's not constructing something, she can be doing carpentry. That'll kind of be her niche. Tailoring, she's actually quite good. If we have some tailoring, we'll let her do that. But this may change. I could go back and make these all 4s, but I think I will leave that as a 2. Research, that's what she's here for. I guess I'll make tailoring a 3. That's such not an important task at this point that we'll just leave that general. Research, definitely a 2. I'll even make that a 1. Yeah, if there's research to be done, that's what we want. We want her to take care of people if they're hurt. We want her to rest if she's hurt. Then we want her doing research. Her intellectual skill is very good for that. This is an excellent intellectual skill as well. Tempted to take that to a 1, and we'll bump that down to a 1. So if there's carpentry or construction to be done, she'll be doing that. If not, she'll be researching. So Dudley's going to have to do a lot of the grunt work. Stewarding, taking care of basic tasks like locking doors, closing windows, okay, and hauling. All right, you can copy these to other characters, you can paste them, etc. This looks good. This looks good. This is how we'll start with the jobs. All right, schedule. Now, how does this work? Schedule panel. You can use the schedule panel to modify the time of day your settler would do each type of activity. All right, work, sleep, anything, leisure. All right, well, I mean, we're just getting started here. We're going to want people out working a vast majority of the day without making them too unhappy. But we also want to stagger it a bit, right? We've only got 3 people. If they're all sleeping at the same time, that's not great. And I also want to know, okay, my second decent melee person is Quinnell. So it's going to be Dudley and Quinnell. One of them has to kind of be awake, or you would like them awake at all times. So we're going to really stagger Dudley and Quinnell. Now I forget, was one of these they didn't need sleep, right? Or was that somebody else that we saw as we were doing the rolls? Disfigured. That one just gets me. Adalina, she's the eater. Yeah, all of these people need, the normal amount of sleep. All right, so why don't we have Dudley be the night owl? If we get attacked, I don't know, you'd probably be at night, wouldn't it? Hell, I don't know. I haven't played the game yet, but I would guess I'm gonna have them work. Let's have him work for like 6 hours. Then we'll give him an hour of leisure. When Quinnell wakes up, then he can work another 3. Ah, gosh, I'm a taskmaster, aren't I? We'll have him work again till another 6, maybe. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make that leisure there, and we'll make that work. So we won't make anybody work over 6 hours. Then he can have a little more leisure, and then a couple hours of work, and then it's bedtime, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does he need 8 hours of sleep? What kind of compound am I running here? Um, Okay. Well, let's have Quinnell sleep while he. Yeah, they would all kind of be asleep there, but I don't know if we can really avoid that. Actually, maybe we can. Um, I could also give Dudley just a couple of hours of anything. So if he wants to sleep, he can. But this will be his main sleeping time. Um, And then that means we need her to be working red, 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 from there and there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll give her a little hour of leisure, the midnight shift, baby. And then they will be working together here. And we'll actually give her her break here. And then we'll give her, a couple of hours of anything. And then we'll let her sleep from 7 a.m. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wow. Did I not give her enough dang work? What's going on? I guess we'll have them overlap a little bit. This can be anything, actually. And then we'll go back to work. We'll give her a little leisure. How about right there? Okay. We'll do anything there. All right, good enough, good enough. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and I say I'm not going to, and then I end up doing it. Anybody that's watched me play games knows that's how it works for me. I guess Adalina is going to be somewhere in between. When Quinnell goes off to sleep, she will start off here. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then she can get some leisure, and then we'll do another, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll give her that for leisure, and then the other ones are kind of do anything you want. That allows them to sleep if they need to sleep, if they're getting low on it. We'll do it this way for now. I guess I don't want them both to be on leisure here. Um, we got to get work done, folks. We got to get work done. I'm a real taskmaster. Okay, that gives them a little bit of flexibility. I may even make that anything just for you, Dudley. Anything for you, Dudley. That gives them some few breaks here or there. All right, that's good enough. Manage. Okay. Tutorial manage. Use the manage panel to determine which items your settlers will auto-equip, what food and alcohol they are allowed to consume. You can still force settlers to consume or equip something using the right-click action button. All right, so this is just kind of general commands. We already set these, remember, undrafted stance. So, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong about what draft is. This is like the clarion call. You, oh, woo! It's like the Vikings calling the Warriors. So if we want to draft them into fighting, we click on this. This is what their undrafted stance is, though, right? This is Dudley is aggressive, Quinnell will flee, Adalina's kind of neutral, all right? Manage weapons, drop item, okay, all weapons, melee 1, melee 2, ranged, all right, so all weapons, we will allow, nope, we want her to be on no weapons. She's not going to carry any weapons. Dudley, all weapons, and then Adalina, none of these guys are a good shot. None of these guys, I say guys just in the general, you know what I mean. None of these people are a good shot. We'll say all weapons. We'll let Dudley have all shields. We'll let him also have the headgear. All apparel. Summer, winter, no apparel, all apparel. Okay, so they can all, put on whatever apparel they want. They've already got a tunic, it seems. Armor, he could do all armor, them no armor. For now, we'll do all food. No food, raw meal, cannibal. And there are stimulants, evidently, so we may have somebody with a drug problem. So these are just kind of big, general, overall, this is what you can deal with, what you can't. We have got to have a research bench to unlock new items, okay? Region, we can go back. Whoa, okay, so we've got some friends about that we will run into eventually. Friendly, we're friendly with them so far. Skin and is an enemy, and they're up on the mountaintop right above us. That's not good. I don't like that. Okay. Back to the game. All right. So how do you kind of manipulate things around in this game? Let's left click so we can see. You can cut things down with the chop. And how do you do that? You would do that like this, and then we would just pull it over this tree, do that, and now it's set to chop, and it will go by their job priorities. So if someone, that goes down, the game goes down to what can it do next? What's its priorities? What do these people have set as their 1, 2, 3s, and 4s? And it goes down each person for each task, and then it figures out who can go chop wood. All right, so we could do that. If for some reason you want to cancel, you can do that as well. Just do that and it cancels the orders. All right. You can cut plants. So if we wanted to cut this grass, we could just do that, pull it across. Or we could also cancel that because it's not the first thing I want my people to do. Deconstruct. So if you've constructed a building or anything else and you want to get rid of it, you can get rid of it. You can harvest berries. You can mine. You can hunt. And this is allow or disallow. Over here is your building queue. You can build wooden walls, wooden floors, wooden doors, wooden windows. There's stairs and thatched roofs. You can produce a butchering table, a campfire, basic research table. There's different furniture. Now, again, I know I repeat myself, but my understanding is this is going to be vastly expanded in the future to make this a true building game. Leisure, you've got a backgammon table if you want it, and you see the two religious shrines, all right? Miscellaneous, you could. There's graves, pyres. Wow, okay, we can get Viking style on this. We can fly our banner if we so desire. Uh, we can build certain things for warfare, like traps and wooden merlins. All right. And then these are zones. And how do zones work? Well, let's just create one, and we'll show you how it works. I say we. I will show you how it works. Let's create, and let's do it. Let's say, let's click on that so it's selected. All right, and it'll tell you, and we could put a stockpile zone, a dumping stockpile, so this is for our waste, or a warfare stockpile where we put our weapons. All right, so why don't we do a general stockpile? I don't want to, any of the soil, but this is the really good soil, and we'll also get rid of this tree eventually. So let's start right here and let's build a stockpile. All right, and I think that's probably a decent size. We'll do that. So that's a regular stockpile. Now, where do we want our waste to be? Well, let's put it someplace that ain't great. Um, all right, we'll just put it back over here by, kind of behind the trees there. So we'll put a waste stockpile there. And then our weapons, we also will have right next to the food and other stockpile items. So let's just do this a little smaller. All right. So that's our weapon stockpile. So we've got our grid set up. And around that, we're going to build wooden walls so that um, it's protected, obviously. And it's very easy to do. This is just I essentially select it on that. And don't forget, yeah, I mean, you can move the camera around if you can't really tell where you're building. And you can still see the grid here, right? So we're just going to pull this out here. All right, and I just release, and then we could move the camera around like that, and then we'll just pull this wooden wall there, and then we'll pull it there. All right, and we're just gonna build a beautiful little building here. We'll do that, and let's move the camera around so we can see it a little better. And we'll just pull it this way. It's going to be kind of an irregular shaped building, but that's all right. We're going to want the weapons in the front. So actually, I'll need to do that. And then let's turn this camera around one more time. And we'll just pull this wall this way. We'll make it look nice, pull it all the way. All right, so there is that. I think what we're going to do is have our main settlement end up over here, but this is going to be our stockpile for now. So let's right click, get off that, and then we'll left click and get off that, and let's turn this around because the other thing we're going to need to do is build a door. And I want my weapons right in front. That's why I did it this way. Now this is going to be, I should have counted these off because our door is going to be a little offset. That's fine. I'm not going to worry that much about this. Um, Wooden door. All right. You can also do a window. You've got flooring. You've got stairs. You've got a thatch roof. So let's do a wooden door, and we'll do it, into the building. So we'll just click right there, and you'll see the door will be upcoming. Let's right click. And then we also need to get the roof prepared because the whole point of this is to kind of cover up your goods. So we'll just start, let's start here. We'll pull it out. All right, we could pull it that way. Do I do like, ooh, it's not going to let me do it over that. All right, we'll have to do a second roof. All right, so there we go, release there. And then we'll also do a roof over this bit. There we go. So we've got double roofs going on. All right. There is that. Now, I probably should have let them gather up all of these things first, because they're immediately going to want to go over and start constructing this building. But honestly, few minutes like that in the day aren't going to matter. It should only take us a few hours to make that, right? Well, probably not. Now, we're not going to tell them to do anything else, cut anything down, do anything like that, because we want them to gather up all of the stuff we already have and that we've turned off of forbid, and we want them to go put it in the building. So let's get started and let's see what they're up to. Okay, they're like, all right, let's go. Is Quinnell already going to go to sleep? Oh, no, she went right away and is building. I love it. All right, so if we get down here, you can see them starting to build the building, and they're getting experience points as they build things. All right, the other thing we're going to definitely need to do, and let's actually go down here and select, or go over here and select hide the roof element so we can see what's going on down here. And you can see they're starting to, bring the stuff over here and set it down. She put the ale in. She's already drinking, for God's sake. No, she went to sleep. This is her sleep time. Sure, Quinnell. Great. Let's go to furniture and let's do a hay sleeping spot. But I'm actually not going. I'm going to add on to this building. So this will be our storage building, and we're going to build another building eventually. But for now, I'm actually going to put our sleeping spots in here. I'll put one in that. Whoops. I'll put one in that corner. Um, and as we gather more, we're gonna on day 2 we're gonna be. I guess I'll put them like here. We don't have that many weapons, so they can all just kind of sleep there. So those are our sleeping spots, and they're gonna continue building that as they run over, get more stuff, and bring it over here to our stockpile. All right, with that, I think I'm gonna call this an episode. Don't forget, we got a waste pile over there. No reason to build walls around that. Let's pan this a little bit. Whoa, hey, there we go. I'm going to call this an episode. When we come back next time, we're going to keep building our settlement. We'll get these people doing other stuff. We'll equip them with their different, swords. We've got swords in here. If I pan it back the other way, have they brought them in here yet? Our weapons should be up front. I don't see them up here. Not yet, anyway. I guess I could pan. Are they over here on this side? What did they bring over here? Oh, that's just a wood pile. Okay, so I mean, they haven't brought the weapons in yet, but when they do bring those over here, and you can see them there highlighted, there's a bow, and we've got a sturdy long bow, and I think there's usually a sword and stuff in here, and we've got some books. When they do bring those over, we'll get Dudley outfitted with a sword, maybe some armor. You can see he's now building the beds. Way to go, Dudley! I like it, my friend. Now they're building the roof. Excellent. Yeah, so anyway, next time we'll do all of that. This looks like a really, really fun game, and they're going to hopefully add so much to it that, it's only going to expand. Anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.